So now, the candidates' policies on taxes, regulation, economic recovery, job creation shaped the public opinion in the final stretch of the campaign. Now, you've mentioned that the states that the Republicans were supposed to win, they won. The states that the Democrats were supposed to win, they won. Now, in your opinion, do you feel that these economic strategies have influenced not just the Americans domestically, but also it does shape the public opinion?
I think that's a very good question. And I think the answer is yes. And I'll tell you why. Trump has imposed massive tariffs on everything the United States imports, including a huge 60% tariff on what we import from China. Now, if he wins, that's not likely to happen, but you can imagine how talk like that affects the feelings of our trading partners, which is pretty much the whole world. And you can imagine how the countries in Europe and Asia feel if the United States is going to impose massive tariffs on everything we import. Will reciprocate. And frankly, it would have a disastrous effect on our economy and the economy of our trading partners.
Mhm. Well, the other argument would be that Trump is actually imposing or planning to impose tariffs on Chinese imports, which would also affect trade with Europe. He's also dealing with immigration issues and border security. But would that mean that maybe American production domestically would strive, or American employment rates and job opportunities would rise?
Yeah, that's the theory. And that is the theory that Trump was basically trying to sell. Let's move production back to the United States, create more jobs. The problem with that line of thinking is that if we start producing at uneconomic rates, if we start producing items that cost more than importing them, that does not augur well for the American economy because it basically means we'll be producing a whole range of items at a higher cost, and that higher cost is passed on to the consumer. And that is not exactly good for the consumer's pocketbook.
So now, wages growing in some sectors but not others. How do you think specific industries like technology, manufacturing or services will influence the local and state results in the key battlegrounds, especially that one candidate is emphasizing and wants to work on strengthening the energy sector. The other would actually talk about expansion within the technology sector. Are the American voters concerned about which sector would witness more of an expansion, or would they just rather see an expansion in any given sector?
Yeah, another good question, because recall that the United States Congress a couple of years ago passed a bill granting $50 billion of subsidies and aid for the chips manufacturing. In fact, it's called the CHIPS bill. And that has produced thousands of high-paying jobs in places where we are building chip factories, Arizona being one of them. And the economic boost that measures like that give to various sectors is important. But you mentioned wage increases. Wages have gone up quite a bit. And as you know, there was recently a settlement of the Boeing strike, and the workers are going back to work, but that settlement is very costly.